They don't show you the scars in the orientation video, the suits, the black cloaks, the gleaming silver rosaries, the hush of holy footsteps over dusty stone make it look like martyrdom cosplay, candlelit devotion, whispers in Latin, sacred weapons lined up like relics in a museum. What they don't show is what happens when one of the nuns' faces splits open like drying clay, what it sounds like when she screams at you in a voice that doesn't belong in this world. They don't show the burn you feel the first time you try to hold a crucifix after. My name's Juniper. It's not my real name, just the one they gave me after the ritual. I'm part of a Vatican shadow cell, a faction trained specifically to hunt and eliminate demonic nuns, not possessed women, not exorcism cases. I'm talking about demons that wear the skin of piety like a costume. They infiltrate convents, feed on faith, and turn monasteries into temples of rot. Training lasted 12 weeks. It started with lectures and exorcism rites, and by week 2 we were practicing how to block demonic magic using a combination of iron filings, lead slugs, and whispered prayer loops. By the 3rd week, they handed us weapons, silver-edged knives dipped in holy oil, rosaries that doubled as garrots, crucifix-shaped flash grenades that either purified the target or detonated into light that could blind even the faithful. And then came the tattoo ritual. No explanation, no ceremony, just a room, a slab, and a monk with ink that smelled like burnt parchment. They carved the rules into our flesh, across the chest, down the arms, over the spine. The pain was unbearable. I screamed so loud I blacked out. When I woke up, the rules were inside me, and they stayed. Rule 1, never speak his name in their presence. The demons are drawn to it. They respond to it like sharks to blood. Even thinking it too loud will pull them closer. Rule 2, never let them hear your heartbeat. They track rhythm like predators. One pulse in the wrong hallway and they'll find you in the dark. Rule 3, silver or lead, never iron. Iron pisses them off. It hurts them, sure, but it also enrages them. They won't stop until they've clawed it out of you. Silver purifies, lead silences. Rule 4, light is the path. Darkness is theirs. If the light dies, so do your chances. Rule 5, do not kill mercy. If you see guilt in their eyes, real guilt, you stand down. You don't end it. You document it. You log it, but you don't strike. If you kill it, they stop changing. The first assignment came fast. They sent me to a monastery outside Krakow. Cold stone, flickering candles, hallways that felt just a little too long. My contact was a priest named Father Damien. He gave me a single silver blade, said nothing, and walked away. I was told to stay in the chapel until midnight. That's when they'd come, and they did. It started with 3 slow footsteps, then silence. I was in the pews, crouched low, eyes fixed on the altar. The light looked wrong, too warm, like sunlight filtered through blood. That's when I saw her, kneeling. Sister Evelina, habit intact, rosary swinging gently as she muttered something in Latin. I raised the blade. My heart was pounding. Too loud. Way too loud. I remembered Rule 2 and stopped breathing altogether. She looked up. For a moment, she didn't look demonic at all. Just sad, like a woman carrying something she couldn't put down. Her eyes glistened, and I swear I saw a tear roll down her cheek. It hissed when it hit the floor. I should have killed her. I should have obeyed protocol. But Rule 5 screamed in my veins. The ink on my forearm burned. I hesitated, just for a second. That's when her face cracked, her jaw dislocated sideways, her teeth unhinged into rows, her eyes went black and then red and then gone. She shrieked, high-pitched and low at the same time. I lunged forward, stabbing through the chest with my silver blade and muttering a binding prayer as fast as I could. She fell, her body twitched, I was shaking. The next day I submitted footage. They reviewed it. Father Mateo told me I did the right thing. I wasn't sure what that meant anymore. Weeks passed. The training intensified. We were sent into crypt drills, dark tunnels beneath the sanctum, flashlight batteries purposely drained. Some nights, we were told to find the target with nothing but our ears and memory. One night, Agnes, another initiate, said, "Jesus," too loud during an exercise. The target hissed, dropped its disguise, and tore through her. She didn't even get a scream out. We found her blade embedded in a wall. That was all. The instructors didn't flinch. Rule 1 was all they said. By week 7, I was deployed again, this time to a chapel in southern Spain. Reports of 2 corrupted sisters singing psalms backward and bleeding through the floorboards. We moved in pairs. I was assigned to Isaac. He was older, quieter, always smelled like gun oil and incense. We used silver rounds at first. They barely flinched. Isaac switched to lead, custom rounds etched with scripture. That did the trick. The impact shattered them from the inside. They collapsed into ash. But then the ash moved. It reformed, screaming. We realized silver only slowed them down. Lead was the key to stopping resurrection. Rule 3, branded into my left shoulder, pulsed like it was alive. When I returned from that mission, I found my Rule 5 tattoo was glowing, not steady, flickering, like a faulty light bulb. I didn't know what that meant yet, but I would soon. And that's when everything started to unravel. I woke up lying on a stone floor. Cold seeped into my spine like it had claws. There were no restraints, no chains, just the oppressive silence and a dull burning in my chest. I pulled open my shirt and looked down. The tattoos were still there, all of them, but Rule 5 was glowing, not in pulses, not like a warning. It looked alive, almost blistered. It was the only one reacting. The rest were flat, dull ink, silent. I wasn't alone. She stood across the room, kneeling beneath a stained glass window that wasn't letting in any light, just color. A woman in a tattered habit. Her head was bowed. She looked like she was praying, but the words were wrong, sibilant, curling syllables that made the air hum in my ears. My hand reached instinctively for the blade strapped to my back. She didn't move. "You're Juniper," she said, without lifting her head. "I remember when they carved you." My breath caught. Her voice was wrong, like it belonged to someone older than the building we were in. I stepped forward, blade raised. My heartbeat was too loud, too fast. It echoed in my ears like a war drum. "Stop," she whispered, and I did. Not because of fear, but because she looked up, and I saw tears running down her face. Not blood, not ink, just tears. That should have been impossible. "You're the last one," she said. "The last one with the rules still burning. The rest of you faded." I didn't answer. I didn't know how. The words caught somewhere between my mouth and the place in me where I stored all the fear I pretended not to feel. She stood, slowly. Her face had lines, human ones, age, regret. She didn't hiss. She didn't flicker. She didn't speak backward. I should have struck, but the blade felt too heavy. "I tried," she said. "I did everything they taught me. I followed the rules. I repented. I never hurt a soul. I finally found my voice. You're a demon." "No," she said. "I'm what happens when they don't let you come back." The silence after that sentence was the kind that moves in behind your ribs and refuses to leave. I lowered my weapon. I had to. My hand was shaking too much to hold it up. She pointed to my chest. "That one, Rule 5. It burns because you knew. You felt it. You didn't want to strike me that night, but you did. And now the rules are trying to correct you." I left her there. I walked out into the hallway, into candlelight and dust, and a kind of fear that doesn't come with teeth. It comes with the question, what if we've been wrong? They reassigned me to a new site immediately, a convent in Ireland. Gone dark. No communications. A team of initiates already sent. None returned. When I arrived, the front doors were wide open, crucifixes broken, statues blindfolded with strips of torn habit, a welcome sign for monsters, or something worse. Inside, I found 3 initiates nailed to the pews. Alive. Barely. Their mouths sewn shut. Their hands tattooed with incomplete rules. All 5 burned into me. Clean. Perfect. But these were warped. Changed. One of them opened his eyes and shook his head violently. I reached down to unseal his mouth, but something behind me clicked. Not a footstep. Not a voice. Just the sound of breathing that wasn't mine. I turned. Nothing. But when I looked back down, the initiate was dead. Just like that. Gone. No blood. Just gone. Ash and a smear of ink on the floor that looked like Rule 2. I fled that place. No fight, no report. When I returned to the safe house, I found my bed had been replaced with a slab. My belongings burned. A message scrawled across the wall in what looked like dried black oil. "You were never meant to last." I requested answers. I got silence. Then Father Matteo called me. He sounded tired, older than usual. "Come to the archive," he said. "Bring the blade." So I did. The Vatican's lower archive is buried beneath 7 floors of reinforced concrete and prayer. You need 2 rings and a retinal scan just to get past the second gate. Inside, I found jars lining the walls, each filled with strips of skin. Human. Tattooed. The rules. From initiates who had failed. "You never told us this," I said. "We tried," Matteo replied. "But they wouldn't listen. The higher-ups believe the rules are immutable. But they're not. They burn out, Juniper. They wear down. Just like you." I stared at the jars. Some of the flesh was twitching. Some were blackened and folded in on themselves. Some looked fresh. "They want us to kill them," I whispered. "Even when they're begging. Even when there's guilt in their eyes. If we don't," Matteo said, "we become them." "No," I replied. "If we do, we lose everything that made us different." He didn't argue. He just handed me a new file. Final mission. Target. Unknown nun. Confirmed kills. 4. Last seen. Rome. When I opened the folder, I saw her photo. The one from the chapel. Tears. Face like stone. No threat marker on the dossier. I didn't take the crucifix grenades. I didn't load the lead bullets. I took one blade. My old one. When I found her, she was sitting in a courtyard garden. Birds fluttered around her. The sun was high and she looked tired, like she'd been waiting for me. "I knew you'd come," she said. "I always do," I said. I raised the blade. She didn't move. "I'm not here to kill you." "I know," she said. "You remember Rule 5? She smiled weakly. I never forgot. We sat for a while, said nothing, watched the leaves shift in the breeze. Eventually, I handed her the blade. She took it gently. Her hands didn't burn. She wasn't a demon anymore. Or maybe I wasn't a hunter. I don't work for the order now. The tattoos are still there, but they've faded. Every rule is now just a scar, faint, quiet, like old memories. But some nights, I hear the prayers again, and I feel the ink trying to return, not because the rules were wrong, but because they were never enough.